Coming next, baseball's 1985 All-Star Game is produced by NBC Sports in stereo sound.
And what about a rematch between Fernando Valenzuela and George Brett? Last year, Fernando struck George out. In a sense, baseball is the most individual of team sports. And on this night, the prospect of dream matchups is what captures the imagination. They're jumping at the Metrodome in Minneapolis for the 56th renewal of baseball's All-Star Game.
Will the issue be decided by the flying feet of Montreal's Tim Raines? Or perhaps the baseline wizardry of the Yankees' Ricky Henderson? Will it be the league's leading stroke of the switch hitter Willie McGee of the St. Louis Cardinals? Or the classic swing of Kansas City Royals' George Brett?
Batting third and playing at third base. This is his 10th consecutive All-Star selection. From Kansas City, number 5, George Brett. Batting fourth.
Hi, everybody. Once again, this is Vin Scully along with Joe Garagiola, welcoming you to the great indoors in Minnesota for this 1985 All-Star Game between the National and the American League. With the count 0-1. There's a shot to third. Staying right with it is George Brett, and Garvey is done and will hold a question for later on. A fly ball, one away. Now George Brett. Look at that uniform, Joe.
They call that early truck. Truck got there about 7 o'clock, and he just barely got it before it took off again. That's amazing. You would forget your uniform, but stranger things than that have happened.
And you see that one on his back? The one is put there by a marking pencil. So with one out, Henderson at first, Brett climbs in, leading the American League at 358. And of course, you remember in 1980 when he hit 390.
And I'll bet that uniform goes down with the pine tar bat.
Steve Garvey, Tommy Herr, Ozzie Smith, and Greg Nettles on the infield, with Tony Gwynn, Dale Murphy, and Darryl Strawberry in the outfield. Henderson a short lead. Increased it now, but bluffs. Usually the bell goes off when that runner's right foot hits the rug.
Up there, and you got Murray coming up. The strategy says stay there, but with the way they're playing today, run at all times. And Henderson, we all know, can run, and he's got Hoyt really checking him out. There's his lead. 3.5 steps is what he says.
Now he's on the rug. There he goes. The pitch is high. The throw is late. Into center field. Backed up by Murphy. Henderson to third.
Very disruptive on those bases. Kennedy, the throw is a little bit low, and in goes Henderson over to third. And as we said, he can turn a walk into a triple. He turned a single. There he goes, head down. Slide, he actually picks up speed. He sees the ball in the center field.
Brett fouls it away, so George still up there. 1-2 the count. If you're interested in the timing from first to second, from the moment he broke, Ricky Henderson was clocked at 2-8. 2-8 from his lead, and when he broke to go to second.
First to second, 2-8. Vince Coleman, who has been getting a lot of publicity from home to first, is 3-7. First to second, they've got him at 3-4. So I don't know about that number.
Well, Brett trying to pick up Henderson. A throwing error charged to Terry Kennedy, allowing Henderson to get to third. Brett came in here with an 8-game hitting streak, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. He has really been on a tear when you think about the fact he went through the month of June without a home run. Three and 2 the count. So Lamar Hoyt, who doesn't walk people, working on George Brett. Look at that. By the end of June, he's just exploded. Ricky Henderson single, stole second, took third on the overthrow, and one out. Brett trying to pick him up. Eddie Murray to follow.
Tip off on his American League lineup. Jim Rice is batting 7th.
3-2. Breaking ball fouled away. Pitch came in on the hands and George pulled it away. And how about the American League's leading home run hitter batting 8th? So Henderson at third. Infield back. Fastball is lined to left, racing over his Gwynn to make the play. Henderson tags and will score.
There really is no substitute for speed.
And that's that. So it's an unearned run. The American League will take it anyway. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 stolen base, and 1 very big error. At the end of an inning, American 1, National nothing. And he lifts one back a third. Could be trouble. Brett will make the catch over the shoulder. Nice play. But the National comes back with 1 run, 2 hits. The ever-popular stolen base figures prominently. And at the end of an inning and a half, the National and American, they're even at 1.
We're here at the 18th hole of this light beer open, and we've seen some real unusual shots today.
You said it.
Hey, Bob, I think you got a birdie.
Elsie, how am I supposed to hit it through this tree? No problem, Bert. How's Yuka going to get on this one?
That calls for another light beer from Miller.
Make it 2,
3, 4.
It's a good thing likes less filling.
Back to you, Mickey.
John, the last player's approaching the tee.
And when it goes to 100, you sell. I won't be long, girls. Hold my calls, will you? It hit the weather vane. It's in the drain. Here it comes out. It's going on the green. Goes in the hole.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
This open ought to be closed.
You know, there was so much talk about the ball being hard to see. Brett makes a tough play, having really no problems finding the ball. That's really a tough play, and he makes it fairly easy.
And he lifts one to shallow center. Henderson, look out. Look at that thing bounce like a golf ball. Murphy will go to second. Garvey stops at third.
Henderson, he thought he might make a shoestring catch, and then he thought better of it.
And that's lifted foul off third. Brett might have a play. He's got it. One run, 3 hits and a walk, 3 left. Middle of the third, 2-1 National.
When players talk about losing the ball, they're looking up at this, and this is what they see. Now watch Brett. Remember we said you can't take your eye off the ball. Watch him try to feel for the fence. There he goes. Where am I? He's pretty much saying to himself. And he realizes that he still has plenty of room, makes the play. And another little problem, there was no the temporary seats, there's no warning track. So he didn't want to take his eye off the ball, and he kept trying to feel for it.
No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. At the end of 3 1/2, the National League 2 and the American League 1. It'll be George Brett, Eddie Murray, and Cal Ripken against Nolan Ryan in the 4th inning. The National League making several changes. Tim Wallach is now at third base. Ryan Sandberg is at second, and Ossie Virgil is now behind the plate. We'll pick them off one at a time. Brett had the scoring fly ball and grounds it to Ryan Sandberg. Over to Garvey, 1 away.
Here's the base hit by Virgil, a good fastball hitter. He hits a curveball in the hole to left field. Rice comes up throwing. Fisk, the runner, kind of gets in the way. You can see Fisk had a weight, gets by him. Now Blyleven alertly backing up the play.
So the Dominican Republic is well represented by Pedro Guerrero. Did you see that zinger that Dick Williams gave Joaquin Andujar in the press conference?
No.
They said to him, Andujar's not coming to the All-Star game. He said, I don't care. I'm just glad he was there the other night when we beat him.
Makings of a feud.
Yeah. There's Dick eating his sunflower seeds. 2-0 the count of George Brett. George Brett had a scoring fly ball and grounded out. 0 for 1. Ball 3. Down in the American League bullpen, Don Mattingly and Alan Trammell are loosening up. So Sparky's going to make a couple of moves. Nolan Ryan working his third inning against George Brett. Fastball down the pipe. It's taken Brett 1 month to raise his average 58 points. He has been blazing hot. And he walked. Second walk given up by Nolan Ryan. He walked Cecil Cooper. And the batter will be Eddie Murray.
You can't keep shooting fastballs by guys like Murray.
That's a strike.
That's the speaker that Eddie Murray hit in fair territory. And when I asked about the ground rule, they said up until he hit it, the architect, we didn't have a ground rule because the architect said nobody's ever going to hit it.
1-2 to Eddie. Fastball, and that's whacked into left center field. McGee and Cruz, and it's Cruz. Hustling back to first is George Brett. Yeah, you can't say Murray was a little late on a 95-mile.
No.
1-0 to Cal Ripken. Grounded to short twice, 0 for 2. Brett at first, held on by Clark. 2 out. Breaking ball, 2-0. 2-0. There's the fastball, hit back a third, smothered by Wallach. No play, but he took an extra base hit away from Ripken. You talk about keeping your nose in the game. He got a face full of rug on that play. And now Winfield represents the tying run. He is grounded to second, single to center, and stolen a base. 4-1 National, but the big guy can get you well in a hurry. Breaking ball for a strike. Winfield took a huge stride on that pitch, and he was locked.
Changed speeds, and it kind of locked him. They've moved Wallach closer to the line, thinking these guys are sitting on the fastball to be able to get around on it. Winfield, big swing. There you see Wallach.
0-1 to count to Dave Winfield. Line drive, foul.
Winfield jumped on that last curveball and really wasn't biting as hard as that first one.
George Brett at second, Cal Ripken at first, and 2 out. Fastball hit the bat and knocked Winfield on his haircut. Oh, it was 95 miles an hour.
Let's see where Virgil sets up with this pitch now. He's one of those catchers that'll move.
0-2.
Outside.
Fastball hit down a Rhino, and Sandberg goes to Clark, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. 2 brilliant defensive plays by Murray and Ripken. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. If you weren't with us in the first inning, Ricky Henderson single, stole second, went to third on the throw by Terry Kennedy, scored on George Brett's fly ball. However, in the top of the second inning,
that was not the best base running judgment by Garcia, trailing by 3.
The essence of hitting. George Brett.
Some guys say it's the rhythm, reading the pitch. For me, it's a feeling that says I'm going downtown.
The essence of shaving.
This is Atra by Gillette. It pivots so the twin blades stay on your beard longer. But what Attra's all about is the feeling that says you just got Gillette's best shave.
Gillette, the essence of shaving.
For All-Star surprises, watch the All-Star Network this fall.
All mature, intelligent individuals will be there.